If you're not happy with your life, it's because you're not living in your gift and you are decided to pursue a passion. But I can't win no money. I can't make the cut. I'm a 16 handicap. That's on a good day. I wanted to play in the NBA. When I was growing up, I wanted to play in the league. That was my goal, to play in the NBA. I wasn't gifted at it, though. There's a couple of problems. If I ran at full speed, I didn't have the ball. And when I shot it, it ain't go in a lot of times. Now, you put that together, you can quit talking about the NBA. My gift was I had the ability, and I didn't know it at a young age, but I had the ability to take information instantly and transform it into comedy. I didn't know that was a gift. I just thought it was something I did. It got me in more trouble than I've ever. It has been the biggest curse, because when you're young, you don't know it's a gift, you're just doing it. Now, as I got older, this gift has transformed a little bit. I can take information and turn it into inspiration. I can take information and turn it into motivation. And the reason I'm here today is because my life has been jacked up. And I have learned and mastered something. I've mastered the principles of success. You can't tell me I can't. That's what I've done. I've mastered the principles of success. I know them by heart, inside out. You can't tell me nothing about it. About success. I cannot help but intertwine faith in there. So if you don't really care for the faith piece, you ain't gonna really care for me. Because I cannot tell you how I made it without telling you about God or the principles. Every principle of success, it comes from God Almighty. It's in whatever religious reading you read. That's not my business what you believe in. You just got to believe in something. I told a group earlier, I don't care what you call God. You can call God Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh. You can call him whatever you want to call him. Just call him, though. It's not in my business what you call him. I don't care. But I cannot stand here and talk to you about my road to success. I cannot inspire these young people that I tried to get to earlier today and not intertwine faith. So I'm sorry if that ain't your thing. But y'all done paid me now, so here I am. I got the money wired to my account, so here it is. Take a deep breath. I tell people all the time, and I was talking to young people, and what I try to get people to understand is, I don't care who you are in this room. If you got to a place in your life where you felt like, life should have been more for you, or you trying to figure your life out, there's one simple way to get it done. God, when he created all of us, he never created an individual without bestowing a gift in it. And God put that gift in all of us. Some of you are gifted in teaching, networking, counseling, sharing, life-saving. Some of you are caretakers, but you're gifted. If you work in your gift, you now find your purpose in life, a real meaning for waking up in the morning. A lot of people, you know people that get up and go to work in the morning, they just miserable. They hate driving to work. They hate their job. They hate their co-workers because they ain't doing what they want to do with their life. Now, that's not your fault. That's their fault. But God, when he created all of us, he gave all of us a gift. We were born with a gift at birth. God ain't made nobody and gave them a gift. Now, the thing of it is, if you stop looking at your gift as running, jumping, singing, dancing, then you can get on with your life. But so many people are pursuing their passion instead of pursuing their gift. Most of you have mastered the principles of success. But when you're talking to young people, you're talking to some people that ain't mastered that aspect yet. It's our job to teach young people the principles of success. They got to learn from your mistakes. See, I messed my life up so I could turn around and talk about it one day. I've been divorced twice. I've lost everything I own in my life twice. I lost it all again in 2005. At the end of 2005, I had $1,700. In 2005, I had made millions of dollars. I had $1,700 at the end of 2005. I've been homeless. I lived in a car for 3 years. I learned some principles, and I started applying. So I'm a little bit different Christian than most people right here. I just happen to be a little bit more real about it. I don't really know where a lot of scriptures are in the Bible. I just happen to know what's in there and what ain't in there. And I had a lady the other day on my show. I had slipped up and cussed, on one of the commercial breaks, because I've been working on my cussing, but that's not really working for me. I have just come to the conclusion that I'm just going to be a cussing Christian. I've been trying to get it and shake it, but it ain't working for me, man. And I accidentally cussed on a commercial break, and the lady, I could tell she was a little put off by it, and I didn't mean to. I don't want to be offensive to people, but I was just talking naturally. And she just stood up and said, I have a question for you, Mr. Harvey. She said, so how's your walk going with Christ? I thought about it. I said, well, I walk tall, I walk strong, with long strides and a slight limp. And that's how I walk. Now, if you ain't got no limp to your walk, congratulations. Mine has a slight limp to it. And every now and then, the flaws that I have come out. See, the difference between me and a lot of people, I happen to be famous. So my flaws have a microphone and a spotlight and the internet connected to it. You might can make your mistake at the house and don't nobody know nothing about it. But I got people watching me all day long. So what I've learned in this journey along the way of having my life as twisted as it was, I've learned the principles of success. I've learned how to get back up, how to fall and fail, get written off, say you ain't gonna ever be nothing. I've learned how to start over. I've learned how to take one heap of all my winnings and risk it on one turn or pitch and toss, lose and start again at my beginnings and never once breathe a word about my loss. Yeah, I've learned stuff like that. That's Rudyard Kipling, in case you didn't recognize that little poem. I stole that. That's when I was paying a little bit of attention in college. I didn't get the degree, but I was listening just a little bit. And when I talk to you, I try to get people to identify with these principles. The greatest thing that you could do in your life, I told the kids earlier, we're at a college institute, so it kind of trips people out a little bit when I say this. And I tell them how important it is to get your education, yada, 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 because we're at a college, that's what I got to say. But then I turn right around and I tell them the truth, though. The most important thing in your life ain't your education. The most important thing in your life is your dream. See, the scripture says, a man without a dream or a vision shall perish. Don't say nothing about education. Now, you got to have one if you're going to climb to certain jobs and go into corporate ladder and be in banking and be in finance and all this stuff y'all doing. But it's the dream that propels you. Look, man, we got to break this thing down real simple for people someday. Quit acting bougie like you've been rich all your life. That's what kills me. You know, I come to these functions, everybody sit up, they lean back in their chair, they speak proper grammar, they get their nose up. You act like you had money all your life. I ain't had money all my life. I come into some money, but I've been scrapping and hustling and grinding and trying to get over. And so have you. But then you get here and you don't have no memory of that. Because now your life is fixed. And so now when you talk to young people, you don't talk to them from the perspective of you made mistakes too. You don't talk to young people like, hey, been there, done that. I smoke weed in college too, man. I know where you at. You don't want to tell them that. Yeah, Clinton smoked weed. He the president of the United States. I'm going to probably say a lot of stuff. I already know that I'm not coming back next year. That's clear. I ain't got a problem. See, that's why I give my money wide to me. Because I already know I'm going to mess around and say something. I'm going to throw somebody into something. Because I see a couple of looks on y'all's face right now. But I don't really care. I'm out of here. I'm going to go get on this jet. I'm going to go down here. My wife down in Miami, man. I'm going to go sleep with my wife tonight. I don't care what y'all do. I was telling you about your gift. This is how you save yourself a lot of trouble. Now, this may apply to some adults in this room. Maybe not. Your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your God-given gift. You ain't got to trip on it, wonder about it. It's what you do better than anything else. Now, whether you've chosen to make that your life's work or not, that's your choice. But I got news for you. If you don't ever pursue that, you ain't gonna ever be happy. It's some unhappy people in this room today because there's some people in here doing what people expect them to do and doing what was required of them, and they just got locked into it. Now you got bills and a family and you don't really want to pursue your dream. So now you got the job and you just don't ride it all the way out. There ain't nothing wrong with that if your job It's what you gifted at doing. This man is going to retire this year, but he's been in the education of young people's minds. He's been shaping young people's minds for 30 years like that. That's what he was gifted to do. If you're sitting up in here and you ain't happy and you in misery, it's because you ain't pursued your gift. And I'm telling them young people over there with them blue shirts on and them striped ties, find out what your gift is and pursue it with everything in you. Because ain't nothing worse than getting a degree and you don't even want it after you get it. Because a degree ain't nothing but a piece of paper hanging on a wall. Now it signifies that you have the ability to complete a task, but your life is made up of what you do with it. Life is 10% what happens. It's 90% of what you do about it. You got to do something with your life, man, that makes your heart beat in the morning when you wake up. See, people ask me all the time, how you do all these jobs, Steve? Because I like all my jobs. You cut your radio on 240 times a year. I do a 4-hour live radio show. How you do that every morning? Well, the main reason is they got a nice check, but other than that, I wake up in the morning, I give people some inspiration, I play music, and I tell jokes. Okay, boom, I like doing that. Then I go to a talk show. I live in Chicago 8 months out the year, 34 weeks. I tape 180 talk shows in Chicago. How you do that every day? Because I love doing it. Then I go to Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, and in 9 weeks, I tape 200 episodes of Family Feud. Man, how you tape all them shows? Once again, they have a check attached to this. But I love what I do. If you cut your TV on, it's obvious that I love what I do. I'm always smiling because God has given me the life of my dreams because I'm living in the gift He gave me. If you live in your gift, man, it changes your life. Do something about your gift. Listen to me, I don't care what job you got now. If it's something that really burns on the inside of you, you ought to go do that. I don't care how old you are. How come you think Kentucky Fried Chicken, how come you think that man on the side, why you think he old? Because his recipe got discovered when he was 68. That ain't the picture of the Colonel when he was 35. But he been frying chicken. He didn't just wake up and start frying chicken. He been frying chicken with this secret recipe for years. It took him a long time for it clicked, but he kept frying chicken, man. Till he became the biggest chicken joint in the world. You can't go nowhere and don't see Kentucky Fried Chicken. That ain't real chicken. But when he was living, it was real chicken, though. It really was chicken. It was the actual parts. If you peel that skin off that Kentucky Fried Chicken, you're in for a surprise. It don't look nothing like. But he hit it. When is it too late to hit it? When is it really too late to hit the jackpot? When is it? When you're 60, that's too late, you don't want to be rich then? What, just 65, too late for you to be rich? When is it too late to hit it? Man, put some spark in your life. Have something to wake up about that make your heart beat in the morning. Have a joyous spirit when you wake up in the morning. Here's another principle of success. I'm going to tell you what rich people talk about all the time. You know what rich people talk about all the time? They talk about money all the time. All the principles of success is in the Bible. See, a man is as he thinks. So, what you think, excuse the grammar, but that's what you is. Don't it make better sense? Bad grammar makes better sense sometimes. If a man is as he thinketh, then what you think is what you is. That make real good sense to me. See, yeah, I like to keep it where people remember stuff I say. So, rich people, you know what they do? They talk about money. Now, when you talk about money around people, they get tight because they don't want to hear the money. Well, money's not everything, and money can't buy you happiness. They ain't got no money. Money might not buy you happiness, but it park you right in front of Happy House. You can get out, ring the doorbell, see if Happy home. There's nothing wrong with money. People, so many things have been said over the years. When rich people get together, they talk about money. They talk about business all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. See, we go to church and we learn the wrong thing. You know what messed me up, man? When I was little, I went to church in Cleveland, you know, and the preacher would always say, he says, hard for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven as it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. Now, me and the rest of the ignorant members, we thought that you was trying to take a needle with sewing thread and push a camel through it. All the people in my church collectively decided they didn't want to be rich because they wanted to go to heaven. I was sitting there at 10-year-old. I wasn't really buying into this because I was trying to figure out how I was going to get this camel into this hole. Because I didn't know what they was talking about because I wanted to be rich. Because this poverty I was allergic to it. I itched all the time. I just came from being poor. You know, you just find just be digging in yourself sometimes. Because you're poor. Poverty is uncomfortable. First of the month comes, your whole butt tighten up. You just like somebody squeezing lemon juice down the crack of your behind. Because it's the first of the month. All this stuff is due. Shot. That's your butt. Shot. Just tightening up. Because you ain't got the money. Why would I not want no money? I live in the hood. I want out. I need money to get out. But at my church, they say it's as hard for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven as it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. So I bought into that. I was about almost 38. I was in Hollywood. I was driving down the street and ran up into Donnie McCoy. He was coming out of the studio on Sunset. I was in the truck smoking a cigar. I saw Donnie. I said, "Hey, man, what's happening?" He said, "Hey, Steve, man, this was one of the first years I had hosted Celebration of Gospel. And I was going to quit hosting Celebration of Gospel because I didn't like the gospel community because they didn't like me. You know, backstage they be saying stuff like, I don't know why he is hosting our gospel show. He ain't saved. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm here for the check. Let's be clear about this. I've been in church my whole life, but, you know, I ain't living no perfect life, and I wasn't, but, you know, that was my life at the time. And I was going to quit, and I was telling Donnie I was thinking about quitting. He said, "Man, why you going to quit?" I was telling him, man, I said, "Man, I'm just confused right now, man." I said, "I don't get it." I said, "Man, I'm thinking about going back to church, man, but, I want to go to heaven, but, man, I'm finna start making this money, Donnie, and it just don't jive with Christianity." He said, "What you mean?" And I told him what the preacher, that it's hard for a man to get through the kingdom of heaven as it is for a camel through the eye of a needle. So Donnie looked at me a little confused because, you know, he's a pastor. And I was just telling him, you know, but I'm trying to find a way to get the camel in the needle. He said, "Steve, that's not what it means." I said, "What does it mean?" He says, "In the Middle East, a needle is an arc that is stuck in the sand that looks like a wishbone on a chicken. And they have them to entryways sometimes. And when a camel approaches the needle, in order for the camel to get through the needle, he has to kneel and crawl through the needle. And then the camel gets back up." He said, "That's what God meant." I said, "Donnie, you mean they ain't talking about a sewing needle?" He said, "Fool, you can't put a camel through a sewing needle." After that, I said, "I got to go make me some money." I just humble myself before God like I'm going through the needle, and he ought to let me in. But I'm going in with some money, though. I became friends with Oprah Winfrey because obvious reasons. I ain't going to keep saying that, but she's a very successful woman. She's a very kind person. Everybody get a bad rap on the internet. You know, she thinks she did too. Well, you know, a lot of people shooting at her. The thing about haters, man, haters kick you when they down, and they throw at you when you're up. And they just do it all damn day. They're just haters. You got them on your job. You got them at your church. You got them. They just hate it. They just haters. Haters because they ain't got nothing else to do. They want to be you. They can't. So here come the hate. And I don't mind haters as long as they throw it, because I'm usually up. You can throw up at me. I don't address you. And I was talking to Oprah one time, and she said, I did a life class with her this past year. And she said, "Steve, I never knew you had a vision board." She said, "You believe in that?" It was the first time we had a serious conversation. I said, "Oprah, how am I going to believe in that?" Every successful person I know has a vision board, or they have their goals written down. You can't do it without writing it down. When you write it down, it's a symbol of faith. See, I was telling a story earlier about writing it down. You know, teacher, we were in the 6th grade and asked us to write on a piece of paper. We came in from summer, what you want to be when you grow up. So everybody filled out the paper. You had to put your name on it, had to write this one thing. In 1968. So I wrote, I want to be on TV. Because nobody had told me I couldn't. I was 10. My vision was wide open. So I wrote, I want to be on TV. She collected all the papers. She started going around the room, naming everybody's name, had everybody stand up. And she read what they wanted to be. Barbara wanted to be a nurse. Johnny wanted to be a basketball player. Robert wanted to own a gas station. Cindy wanted to be a doctor. She got to me, she waited last. Now, I had never gotten a gold star before. All of my years of school. And she asked me to stand. And when I stood, she said, "Little Stevie, come to the front of the class." Now I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is the gold star moment. I've been waiting 10 years for this. I ain't never got a star before. This is the day. So I started walking to the front. I'm skinny. I got my brother's clothes on because we were poor. I got up there and she said, "Steve, let me ask you something. What did you write on your paper?" I said, "I want to be on TV." She said, "And why did you write that on your paper?" I said, "Because that was our assignment for today." And then she said, "What you write that on the paper for?" Now I'm thinking to myself, judging by the tone of this conversation, this might not be the gold star moment I thought it was going to be. So I started cowering down. And she said, "So why did you write it on the paper?" And I said, "Because you asked us to." Voices really softened. She said, "Do you know anybody on TV?" I said, "No, ma'am." "Anybody in this school ever been on TV?" I said, "No." "Any of your relatives been on TV?" I said, "No, ma'am." She said, "Take this paper. I'm going to call your mama. When you go home, I'm going to tell her you being a smart aleck in this class. Now you take this paper and you come back with something more believable on it." So she pinned a note on me and I had to go home. My mama was waiting on me because she called the house. So my mother said, "What you doing up at that school being a smart aleck?" I said, "Mama, I just did what the teacher told me to." She read the note. She said, "What you write this on your paper for?" I said, "Because the lady asked me what I wanted to be. I won't be on TV." She said, "I'm telling your daddy when you get home." Well, my father was the executioner. My mother was the warden, and he was the executioner. And I knew when he got home, I was going to get my ass whooped. So, excuse me, I'm sorry, I slipped out. I didn't really sorry about that. I was going to get my butt whipped. And so when my father came home, she told my father, "Look what Steve wrote on this paper." So he read the paper. He said, "What's going on here?" Said, "Steve up at that school act like a smart ass. That teacher done asked him what he wanted to be, and he done put, 'I want to be on TV.'" My father read the paper. He said, "What's wrong with that?" I started thinking, a reprieve. So he said, "Boy, go in your room. I'll be in there in a minute." And I got my spankings in the room, so I went on in there getting ready. Him and my mother had an argument. My father came in the room. He said, "Boy, what you write this on your paper for?" I said, "Because I want to be on TV." He said, "What she want you to write on the paper?" I said, "Like a basketball player or policeman." He said, "Put that on paper. Take it up to the school and give it to that dream-killing heifer." So I write it. He said, "Now take your paper." He said, "Before you go to bed tonight," now this is my father now with a 3rd grade education. My father was a sharecropper in Alabama. He said, "Read your paper every night before you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, read your paper before you go to school. Read your paper every day and read your paper every night." I took my paper up to the school and I turned it in. It took me till I was 38 years old. But I finally got on TV.